Once upon a time, there was a yogi, but he died. And having died, he found himself standing before the great Bodhisattva, the Buddha himself. And the Buddha said, "Yogi, you have lived a conscious life. I would like to grant you a wish." And the yogi thought to himself. And he thought some more. And then he said, "I would like to understand the nature of illusion." And the Buddha said, "Oh, no, please, that's too easy. Something harder, something more challenging. Come on." And the yogi said, No, I thought I understood the nature of illusion before I died, but now I'm not so sure. And so the Buddha reached into his sleeve and pulled out a water goblet. And he gave it to the yogi, and pointing to a distant sea, said, "Bring me back a glass of seawater." And so the yogi set off across the sands, and he came to the sea. But before he did, he met a young woman sitting there in the sands crying. And he paused and asked what the problem was. And she said, "Well, this is where I live with my family. We are rice farmers, but our harvests have been worse and worse, and I'm terrified for our future." And the yogi paused because he had been something of a rice grower himself, and he stretched himself up and he said, "Well, in my day, I was something of a rice grower myself. I bet if I could just look at your parents' field, I might be able to figure out what the problem is." And so she took him to her parents, and they went out into the fields. And sure enough, the yogi was able to figure out what the problem was. They fixed it, and in no time at all, the family was enjoying abundant harvests of rice, year after year. Bags and bags of rice flowing in, filling up their barns, filling up their storehouses. And every night, the family toasted the yogi at dinner, and the young woman thought he was a fine man. And over time, the yogi himself grew to be a younger man. And so he asked for the young woman's hand in marriage, and the family said yes. And now they had their own fields and farms, and every year rice flowing in, filling up their barns and storehouses year after year, until the great floods. Huge torrents of brown water came spilling in, washing away the fields, washed away their barns and their storehouses, until the yogi himself was up to his neck in thick brown floodwater. And with one hand he was holding onto his wife, and with the other he was holding onto his son. And then a brown surge swept over them all, and he lost the son, and he let go of the wife to reach after her, and they were both gone. And the yogi was standing there dripping wet before the Buddha with a glass full of floodwater in his hand.